Once again, thanks to everyone who came by the stream yesterday. It was some awesome stuff. A lot of people came by. We discussed some cool Transformer stuff, and we're still on the road to the Netflix Earthrise series, which is going to be happening in 3 days from now. But it seems that something interesting happened this morning. Apparently this is, again, take it all with a grain of salt. Apparently a Hasbro worker got drunk and posted a whole bunch of stuff on the various message boards. 2 of them already removed the post. 1 of them had not yet, so I got a nice screen cap of it, and we're going to go over it. Now, of course, a lot of this stuff we could take with a grain of salt. Don't know if it's legit or not, but I like to document these and kind of put a timestamp on them so that if some of this stuff is legitimate, we do know that that source is a good source of information in the future, and that we at least covered it. So let's get into this. Now, this individual, Die Throwaway, that's literally what his name is. He says that he quit and that he's drunk right now and that he's posting all the stuff for the next year and a bit of the year after that. Now, judging by the way that he's typing, it's clearly from a cell phone, and just by the way everything's capitalized on the beginning of every line, very common with an iPhone kind of typing style, with an autocorrect for capitals, combined with the fact that some of his words are just a mess and the autocorrect is just going all over the place. So let's go through this, and I'll give my opinion on them. You could give your opinion on them. We'll do this together, and then maybe some of it is legit. Maybe this is all just a big old waste of time. But again, like I said before, I want to put a timestamp on it. I want to say, like, hey, we covered it, and maybe some of this might be real later, and maybe this Die Throwaway will be a good source of information in the future. So it says here, in 2021, the 2 sublines will be Buzzworthy stuff, and they will be Target exclusives. Now, this does seem legitimate a little bit because Buzzworthy Bumblebee stuff has been spotted in retail, and the only retail it's been spotted in is Target. So I'll give them props there. The secondary subline that isn't Buzzworthy Bumblebee is going to be a Shattered Glass line that'll be exclusive to Hasbro Pulse. Interesting. Hasbro does have a Shattered Glass trademark. They could be doing more with it, and we will see what they have to say about that. So it says here, Shattered Glass that he knows thus far are going to be Jetfire and Megatron from the Earthrise molds of Starscream and Goldbug, along with Kingdom Megatron into Rexy, which I don't even know what that means. I'm going to try to break this down. So the first one that's bizarre is, so the original Shattered Glass Jetfire was they took the Starscream mold from specifically the Voyager scaled mold from Cybertron, Transformer Cybertron in 2005, 2006, and they gave it Jetfire colors, that red, white, and black, and that was that. That was the 2008 BotCon toy. So I guess the implication here is they're going to take the Earthrise Starscream and give it the same color treatment of a Jetfire. Sounds interesting. Sounds like something that definitely would be something you could pull off in a Pulse exclusive as opposed to a retail item. It says here also Megatron, and it says it's going to come from the Goldbug and the Kingdom Megatron. I don't know. I think what he's trying to say is that there's going to be a Goldbug toy, which Goldbug was a Shattered Glass character also instead of Bumblebee. Originally, it used the Exilion, aka Hotshot mold, so they don't say what mold's going to be used here. Who knows? Let's see. I don't know. Maybe a Hot Rods mold or something. Like that one I don't know. You know, Exilion Hot Rod. But again, that one he didn't mention. And I guess the Megatron from Shattered Glass is going to be using the Kingdom Megatron mold. I don't know. His wording here is very bizarre. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but that's his implication. Again, to me, like, Megatron from Shattered Glass should use a Galvatron mold, in my opinion. That makes a lot more sense. And considering we know that we're getting a Kingdom Galvatron at some point, that just makes a lot more sense. That's just my call on that. Again, it's a little bit jarbled what he's writing here. Next here he says we have Amazon exclusive packs That is the Earth Mode Mirage and a Beast Wars 2 Skywarp from the Air Razor Deluxe Kingdom mold. Now, for people who aren't aware, in Beast Wars 2nd or Beast Wars 2, Magnaboss, the combiner team from Beast Wars, had the member known as Silverbolt, not to be confused with the Fusor character, that turned into a falcon or a eagle. I don't know my birds very well. And in the Beast Wars 2nd side of it, that character was called Skywarp, not to be confused with the Seeker Jet of the same name from Generation 1. So I guess the implication here is that it's going to be a re-sculpt, repaint, remold into that. I could somewhat see that a little bit if you give it a brand new head on the eagle and you paint it like a bald eagle white and you give it the new rounder, like a new head sculpt instead of the Air Razor one. I could see that working. I could see it. But at the same time, that's really stretching. And not to mention to call it by its Japanese origin name. Why not just call it, Beast Wars Silverbolt? Maybe they don't want to confuse it with the Fusor character, so they're going with the Skywarp route, but then you're confusing people with, I don't know, who don't know that history outside of the Seeker character. So that's another weird one. Makes me raise an eyebrow. And again, Earth Mode Mirage, I guess the implication, because we have the Mirage already from Siege and what was seen in the TV series. So they're going to be doing an Earth Mode one. That one intrigues me. I find it bizarre that it would be an Amazon exclusive, but instead of using that mold for something that's a little more mainstream. But, I mean, it doesn't surprise me too much. Usually it's just straight up repaints, and this would be very weird. But again, we shall see. We shall see. Also says here, Amazon exclusive Earth Sideswipe and Grimlock from the Dinobots. This one's bizarre because while I could believe in Earth Sideswipe, even though it should be a retail thing, we have a Grimlock and from the Dinobots coming from Studio Series. So to do something again, a Legendary 7 top tier character and just peg-holing him into an Amazon exclusive. Maybe those Amazon exclusives sold so well with Amazon that they just want to continue this and it's just money for them. Again, and Earth Sideswipe, we knew that was coming sooner or later. Walgreens exclusive Earth Mode Red Alert. Again, cover that Sideswipe. Now you got a lot of exclusives. People are not going to be too keen on that. The Buzzworthy Bumblebee line will also continue into the Masterpiece movie stuff, where we're going to get 77B along with Barricade under the Buzzworthy Bumblebee title in a reissue straight up for retail. So, okay, I guess they're really going to put Bumblebee's name everywhere. He says there's almost certain that there's also going to be the War for Cybertron Bumblebee, aka the video game Bumblebee Cybertronian mode toy, the deluxe that we got from when Generations first started, as well as seeing a reissue of the animated Bumblebee toy. This kind of reminds me of, I think it was called the Evolution of Bumblebee 3-pack that came out in, I think it was 2009, I think it was, where it had the classics one, the video game one, and the animated one all in a nice box set, and had little tweaks of paint here and there. Or did it have the movie one? I think it had the movie one in there. But yeah, it sounds similar to that. Doesn't surprise me. But that was like a crazy B hype back in 2009. Today, I think we're B burned out in a lot of ways, like I said even on the stream yesterday. He says here we're also going to touch into some 2022 early stuff, which is going to be leftovers of G1 and War for Cybertron characters, some Beast Wars, and some other continuities. Basically old style G1 again. Tarantulas is the only one that's going to be a new mold. Selects will be as follows: Earthrise Deep Cover, again another repaint of an Earth-based Sideswipe. Road Rage, I guess that's something leaning into whatever the Trax mold is going to be. Road Rage was the red repaint female version of it. Toy-colored Galvatron. I read that somewhere. I forget where, but there was going to be a toy-colored Galvatron to match the more show-accurate colored Galvatron that'll be our leader class with Kingdom. T-Rex from the leader class Megatron. T-Rex was the Beast Machines, Dinobots, Megatron repaint. And Artfire. Artfire is the repaint from the Voyager scale Kingdom Inferno, the fire truck. So interesting stuff there. The only thing really to deconstruct is like, oh, Tarantulas is going to be a new mold. He's not going to be a Black Arachne, a repaint, remold. I appreciate that. That's how it really should be. They shouldn't be remold repaints of each other. Those days are long behind us. He also says here, Sweeps and Junkions, probably for Studio Series 86, but maybe leaning more towards Selects. Also, the Bumblebee movie Seeker Jets will be getting individual releases. Thundercracker will be a Amazon exclusive, Skywarp will be a Walmart exclusive, and Thrust, the green one, will be a Target exclusive. Hasbro Pulse will carry 5% of exclusive stocks, like with Walmart, Amazon, and so on. So if you order from them instead of Kingdom, I don't know what he means by that. Maybe all of those exclusives that I just mentioned will also be on the Hasbro Pulse website. So there will be an alternative to get it if you can't get through those exclusive venues, which is still, it's all buying online instead of in-person retail ultimately in the end. And the last thing that's said here is the Kingdom Spoiler 3-pack will actually be a big spoiler as opposed to the past two that were kind of half spoilers, kind of vague. So that's that. A lot to unpack here. But I mean, it's stuff that, again, we could definitely dog here on the page, so to speak, and go like, okay, well, let's see, are those movie masterpieces actually going to be part of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee subline? If we see that in the future, that's something that we could definitely put to the legitimacy of it. We'll see what happens. The only thing here that really intrigues me out of everything that's listed here is just the emphasis on every release has to be exclusive to some kind of venue. Like, there's not something that's just a catch-all right now. Like, you're going to have Kingdom and its ongoing line. That'll be the retail thing. But everything listed here is like, oh, it only is available in this location, or it's only available in that location, which is interesting. Again, it's going to make collecting a little more of an issue in the future for some people. But at the same time, you know, Hasbro gets paid by these companies large sums of money for them to get the exclusivity of these characters. So they won't say no when, you know, Walmart's going to give them millions of dollars to get an exclusive, you know, Bumblebee movie Seeker Skywarp or something. And then it turns around and sells out instantly. Walmart's going to make that investment again, you know. So it's something that's interesting. Again, the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line sounds like it's even bigger than we thought. It's going to be covering multiple price points, multiple, you know, different things. We're going to probably see, if anyone didn't like seeing all that Bumblebee product during the Bumblebee movie, it's probably going to be a resurgence of that. But from what it sounds like, it's going to be a Target exclusive kind of thing, which is weird because I don't really remember seeing movie masterpieces in Target. They were always really a Toys R Us thing. But I could be wrong. Maybe it's just my lack of knowledge of that. But, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on that. But at the end of the day, a lot of weird stuff here. Again, the Beast Wars 2nd Skywarp from the Air Razor. I'm intrigued. That sounds interesting. But at the same time, I would actually prefer that character used for a combiner team. Give me Magnaboss and call it a, you know, use that instead. Even use the Japanese names. I don't care. You know, Lio Convoy Jr. and Santon and Skywarp. But still interesting stuff. Shattered Glass being a mainstream thing too. I don't know. We'll see. Let me know what you think about this stuff. Again, just wanted to just point this all out, make a note of it, and we'll see what happens in the coming months if any of this is legit. Hasbro's been pretty quiet over the past week or so. It is the holidays, so it's no surprise. But if this is a drunk Hasbro employee spilling, well, this is some interesting stuff going into 2021.